Today's a really important lesson in fundamental blind work. Before we get started, think about this for a second. The reason we have 17,000 pages in our law books is that we cannot follow 10 lines on a tablet of stone. All right, today I want to revisit and dissect a little bit the subject of the three-legged pattern. You know, it's part of the sequence of teaching a dog to do blinds. They go through their fundamental yard work, then beginning blinds, which to me are the three-legged pattern, and walkout blinds, and beginning the single-point blind. Those things all sort of coincide. Step one is really the three-legged pattern. Now, the three-legged pattern was, to my knowledge, invented by D.L. Walters, and it was way different than what you see out here. The three-legged pattern was a blind, 180 degrees on each side, one there, and one up the middle. So it was three distinct blinds that were maybe 100 yards long. That was a step one in doing blinds in those days. That's probably 50 years, 60 years, 70 years ago maybe. So the way I teach and use the three-legged pattern is to condense it, to make it not as wide. And after they come out of yard work, we start doing the three-legged pattern. But very quickly, it's expanded. It becomes longer so that, and not only longer, but you change the angles so that it becomes a more advanced version of the original three-legged pattern. So what we're going to do is make this into a two-part series. Part one is what we're going to do today, which is the beginning stages with a beginning dog that doesn't know anything about this. We're going to, step one is to set up the three-legged pattern. Step two is to mark it in some way. So it's this kind of like a little visual setup to teach the dog the location of these three blinds. The next step is to do that several times and eventually take the markers down, which is the white. They used to use bleach bottles, but I have just flags out there. But eventually the flags will go, and I'll be able to do the advanced version, which is from a long distance at various angles through water and in conjunction with some marks. But the beginning version is to establish these three locations so that when you say dead bird, the dog will lock in and know where he's going. In the more advanced stages, you can send for one, stop, and cast for another, which really is, now you're delving into the fundamentals of doing an actual blind. The initial line, stopping on the whistle, and casting. A lot of people tend to get into cold blinds too early, so they're hacking too much, and dogs really never learn to line or to cast because it's too chopped up. So what we're doing here is learning the lining part, and then we're going to do the casting part as part of this. So bear with me. I'm going to get set up with Sandman, who's 9 months old. He's been through yard work. He can do swim by, and he understands what a walkout blind would be, which is to walk out, drop a bumper, walk back, send him for it. He's had beginning casting, so this is really his start in doing the three-legged pattern. Okay, so here we are. I've put some bumpers at each one of these three stations. I've got a mat so we know our point of reference. And I'm just going to start by trying to get him to focus on each blind, and then I'll just run each one as a single blind. That's day one, step one. Heel. So I'm going to go for the right hand one first. Sit. Watch that bird now. Dead bird. I'm saying dead bird a lot because I want him to know that this is different than a mark. Here. Sit right there. Good. Dead bird. Dead bird. Back. Good. Attaboy. Okay, that's good. Heel. Sit. Out. Okay, that's it. Sit right there. Right there. Good. Now we're going to the middle one. That's it. Dead bird. Sit. Back. This should go smooth as silk. It should be real obvious to the dog exactly what you're doing. Good. Sit. Out, sit. Heel. Now this is a good time to pay close attention to getting the dog lined up right, to be slow, be accurate, and to get all the fundamental things he should be doing, have him be doing it. Don't be real sloppy and then expect him to get unsloppy at some point. Sit, dead bird. Right there, good. Sit. See, now he's crooked, so I'm going to straighten him up a little here. Sit, sit. Heel, get back. Sit. Good, right there. Sit. Good. Back. No, here. So just when I sent him, he looked back at the middle one. That is not a good thing. During this thing, do everything you can to not call the dog back. It's so important to make sure you get the complete understanding and go where you're pointed. I sent him, and just as I did, he looked off, and I can't do anything about it, but you try not to have that happen. If that does happen, to make sure it doesn't happen like twice in a row, get this picture, then move up so it's really clear exactly what you're doing. Sit. This is not a time to develop some confusion. Sit right there. Good. Good. Back. Okay, he was locked in good. He glanced over at the middle one, but then he looked back at this. I know this seems very simple to everyone, but it is. And make sure it is that way, because you want it to be. It's got to be clear, simple and clear. Heel. Hold, hold, out, sit. Good boy. Okay, that would be step one. Now, step two, step three, step four with this dog would be, come here, sit, sit. Remember, you're dealing with a puppy here. Don't have an open dog yet. So you have to watch every little thing. So heel, sit, sit. Good boy, sit. Okay, now if you start this and you're having any difficulty at all, don't force the issue. Break, sit, sit. Immediately go into moving up, making it clear. You don't want to, this is not a challenge. It's just the beginning stage of complete understanding. Sit, dead bird, back. And the least little problem that comes up, they don't understand, they're looking up in the sky, move up. If that doesn't work, move up further. If that doesn't work, get a bumper and throw it on the pile and then send them. Do whatever you can to make it clear and simple. And their tendency is to not do that, is to say, Don't act so stupid. You know, you should be able to do this. You know better than all those. Forget all that. Make it clear and simple. What you want to do is get them going. Good. Sit. Good. Dead bird. Back. And keep doing that until this is clockwork. The best time to do this is when they're fresh. Don't wait till you've done all your marks and all the fun stuff and then say, okay, we got to do some yard work or we got to start blinds. Do this first so they're fresh and keen and eager. So that's step one. Now, step two would be the same thing. I'm going to do this one more time right here, right now, the same three. That's step two. Step three would be to do it from here but take the markers away. So I'm going to see if I can get that far today on the first day with him. If I can't, if he's still a little foggy, I'll wait till tomorrow and I'll do it tomorrow. No rush on this. The crucial part is getting it solid and getting it straight from the beginning. Heel. Okay, so the next step is just to do it again and make sure it's real clear. Good, right there. Good, dead bird. Back. Now, somebody's going to ask, do you always do it in the same order? In the beginning, yes. Good. Good. But then, as you do it a few more days, then you're going to start mixing up the order. Heel. Sit. Hold. Out. Okay, now I'll get the middle one. Come here. Here. Sit. Good, right there. Dead. Dead bird. Back. You must build confidence right here, right from the beginning, or you'll end up with a dog that's slow and unsure of himself. You want a lot of confidence and a lot of focus. Good boy. Sit. Out. Heel. Sit. Sit. Good, right there. Sit. Ready? Back. Good. Heel. Sit. Good. Out. Okay, so in the first day, maybe that's enough. If he was a little foggy, maybe you're going to move up and do it a couple more times. The idea is while you still have these markers up to make sure they lock in, you say dead bird, back, and they go right out there without a problem. That is step one, and until you can do that, you don't need to think about step two. But step two would be, from the same distance, take the bags down, the markers down, so that they'll still see a stick there, but it won't be quite as prominent like it was a gunner. Okay, when you come out and do this and the dog just catches on right away, boom, 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 and you do it again, boom, 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 you think, oh, let's try it without the markers. That's risky because you don't want to begin this with issues. But if it's real solid, you can move ahead. You may have a 18-month-old dog that is already advanced enough to be able to do this. But in the beginning, make sure it's really solid before you take the markers away. Once you do that, then you're still at this beginning line. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, this is so simple. My dog could do this in his sleep. Fine. But just wait, because there's a progression here that's going to get very advanced and your dog probably can't do it. But you want to make sure you've covered all your bases. Always go in increments of learning. Never say, oh, he can do that, and then try the advanced version and find out he can't do it. Now you've got your hands full with a dog that is confused, and eventually you have to start from scratch again. So the crucial part is to make sure the beginning is very solid. And I know almost everybody thinks their dog can do this, and they can. But what you want to do is make sure this is only the beginning of something that's a fantastic learning experience. So I'm going to try this now with Sandman. He's done this twice with the markers up. Now I'm going to try it without the markers. Sandman, here. Attaboy, good. Heel. Sit. Right here. Here. Sit. Back. Okay, that's good. Good. Heel. Sit. Okay, now let's get this middle one. Sit. Good. Right there. Ready? Back. Excellent. Okay, good. Excellent. Attaboy. Hold. Heel. Sit. Sit. Good. Okay, now where's that one in the corner? Ready? Back. Attaboy. Okay, good. Good man. Fetch. Hold. Hold. Good boy. Out. Sit. Okay, so that's step one of many steps, but it's the basic step. It's identifying these 3 blinds and making sure they go there, and there's go with confidence, and there's no confusion, and there's no going halfway and looking around or looking up. Everything is solid. When that's good, then you can proceed. And our next lesson, we're going to go real rapidly into something very advanced. We won't be using this dog because he won't be that advanced that quickly. So in the next episode, we're going to get, things will change rapidly into a very advanced version, which I know everybody's waiting for that. But let's make sure we can do the beginning step first. An interesting element to dog training in general. This is a beginning dog. He knows to fetch, he knows to hold, but guess what? He's not holding very well. Why? Because it's very hot. He's got saliva and water and slippery bumpers, and he hasn't learned to bite down and breathe hard at the same time. And I'm being very lenient on that because he's going to learn that as he gets older. And I don't want to make a federal case out of this having a really fantastic hold in the conditions that I'm asking him to do it. He's beginning, and I'm doing so many other things with him to try to advance him quickly that I don't want to stop and make a big issue out of one tiny increment. If I go in the house and say fetch, he fetches and holds beautifully, but he hadn't figured out how to bite down and breathe hard at the same time. So you all have to excuse that for the Sandman. In short order, he'll hold beautifully. But I wanted to mention that because I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, he's not holding very well. Well, he's not. And I recognize it. I know what it looks like when a dog holds and when he doesn't hold. But I'm not willing to do what it would take to teach him that under these conditions. So I want to say one more thing on that exact topic. As you go along in training, things are going to come up. They're going to make a mistake. It's very important to remember, yes, you have to correct the mistake, but you don't have to correct it today, and you don't have to make it completely perfect today, especially if it's at the expense of other parts of your training. That is what foolish people do. They get too interested in perfection, they bear down too hard, and they lose a lot of the ground they've gained elsewhere. I've watched plenty of dogs get ruined, dogs with enormous potential get ruined because they have a little problem somewhere, and that problem gets made worse and worse and worse by trying too hard to fix it in one sitting. So have a little bit of patience. You're trying to fix something gradually, not in one sitting. So be patient. These are really great dogs. Don't ruin them over one little issue.
For behold, he who forms the mountains and creates the wind, who declares to man what his thought is, and makes the morning darkness, who treads the high places of the earth, the Lord God of hosts is his name.